Mm. Oh man, hold on. Let me get another dose. Ooh. What's up, good people? It's time for another session of that verbal cardio, man. We back. We back, man. It's another glorious week. We alive. We here. You know, if you're watching this right now, if you're listening to this right now, the blessings is your phone is working, your computer's working, your internet is hooked up. You have the luxury of being able to sit and watch something as meaningless as my podcast, just to pass the time. That means you're not out here super stressed. You know, you're not passed out in the hospital. You're not face down. You're not in extreme pain the way you can't even focus on anything. You know what I'm saying? If you just watching this podcast, no matter how you watching it, that's a blessing right there. Because it could be a lot worse. You could be like, yo, I ain't even got nothing to watch it on. I can't even afford the internet. I can't do nothing about nothing. So we already blessed out here. It's the humility, you alive. A lot of people ain't make it to today. A lot of people did not make it. Some people right now fighting for their lives in the hospital right now. I want to give a shout out to the students that were shot at Evergreen High School in Colorado. They were shot by a student at their school who then turned the gun on himself. And so those two students are, as of a day ago, when I Googled to see how they were doing, they were still in the hospital. One was in critical condition. And so I want to give a shout out to them. Just another school shooting. They keep happening. This happened the same day that Charlie Kirk was also killed due to gun violence. He was shot in the neck in Utah, mid talk, and I saw it. I saw the tape. I saw the visual. It was horrible. It was horrible to see. Like, you know, I saw it from a couple different angles, and you don't wish that on nobody. And one thing I do not like doing is picking and choosing the outrage, picking and choosing when to care, picking and choosing, comparing tragedies to one another. Will you say compare this to? It's all bad. It's all bad. People have been losing their lives every single day across the world, in Africa and in Gaza. You know, the list goes on, man. And so all of these tragedies matter. They matter, you know what I'm saying? And with the Charlie Kirk thing, though, what's happening is a lot of people are trying to force people to be sympathetic and show empathy and, like, you know what I'm saying? They forcing it. How dare you not have sympathy for this man? And, you know, this, that, and the third. But they're not realizing the type of stuff he was on, the type of stuff he was saying, the type of stuff he believed, the type of stuff that came out of his mouth. You have to understand why people don't feel real remorse for him. Because the way he was talking, the stuff he was saying, somebody that looks like me, I don't think he would give a damn about my death, to be honest with you. I firmly believe that. I don't know this man personally, so I'm just basing it on the stuff that he has said out of his own mouth. And I honestly believe he wouldn't give a damn about my death. He would politicize it, to be honest with you. Make a further argument. How'd he die? Oh, he got shot. Big surprise, a black man shot. I firmly believe he would be on that type of time, given his track record, given his history. So realistically, why would I be super broken up about a person like that? You got to be real with yourself. You can't force people to be like, oh man, we sad. You can't force that. Either you're sad or you're not. And that's what people are trying to do. And so for me, I know full well Charlie wouldn't give a damn about me getting murdered up. And depending on the, the parameters of my death, he'd be like, you know what I'm saying? Well, Tony, did he cooperate with the cops? He should have cooperated. That type of time. You know what I mean? My heart does go out to his children. For sure. My heart goes out to his children for sure. Because, they're 3 and 1. His kids were 3. He had a 3-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old son. Fresh children. These children are fresh. So they never even got a chance to really get the feet together on anything. And children they never ask for any of this. They never ask for the parents they are given. These children just come how they are. So these children have lost their father. So, my heart always goes out to that because these kids never even got a chance to even establish a real relationship and connection with their father. Because 3, 3, a lot of people, you can't even remember yourself at 3 years old, let alone 1-year-old. So now you just got to go on the stories and pictures and, you got to look at stuff. And I don't want their kids to have to look at the stuff he was saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the legacy. And what if his kids don't agree with his message? Like, what if they don't agree with his viewpoint? What if they're just like looking at him like, ew, I don't like the stuff Dad is talking about. Like, I don't agree with that. Like, I don't like his viewpoints. And now they are robbed of the opportunity to dig deeper into their father. Because a lot of times, if you don't completely mold your children to your will and to your teachings and to your beliefs, when children have their own opinions, their own values, their own way of life, their own viewpoint, they can challenge the parents like no other. When children challenge their parents, that could be very effective. Because a lot of times when you're stuck in your ways, and this, that, and the third, you believe what you believe, and you know what I'm saying, you stuck in your little ways or whatever. A lot of times your spouse can't even break through because y'all might have some underlying issues as husband and wife. Because a lot of times when we're in a relationship, you don't want to hear what your partner got to say because they got on your nerves about something else. So now you don't even want to hear it. They could be making a valid point about something else, and you'd be like, you still lied to me about such and such. And then you could never really have a full conversation. But when you love and respect your children and they start challenging you on things, even when they're teenagers, when they start like, because I'm a firm believer in challenge your family members. If you got bigoted, racist, prejudiced family members, challenge them. Don't give them the pass. I'm a firm believer in that. If they use an outdated slurs or just words to describe people that's just offensive, they still using that, call them out, challenge them. And I feel like a lot of parents can be broken through by their children. Stop using those terms, Dad. We off that. Like, why do you feel like that? And sometimes kids make a hard stance. They draw a line in the sand like, look, man, I can't really fuck with you if you on this type of time. And then they're forced to really grapple with themselves in that moment if they love their children like that. If they truly love their children and they can take internal inventory on how they've been living and what they've been saying and what they've been preaching, and then really come to like a place where they're really like evaluating the effects of their words and how they're living and stuff like that. A child can really transform their parents. So I'm not saying that would have been the case with Charlie Kirk, but I'm just saying the kids never even got a chance to do that. So, but all these people coming for me, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're making fun. I ain't never made fun of his death. But what we are going to point out is when people die tragically, you start to take stock in how they were living their lives. What were they about? What was going on? What was he all about? And, you know, when he died tragically, it's like, yo, this is the kind of stuff he was saying about school shootings. This was the kind of stuff he was saying about black women. This is the kind of stuff he was saying about black men. This is the kind of stuff he was saying about, you know what I'm saying? All these things, they're going to come out. We're going to have these conversations. You can't just be like, just say rest in peace and move on. No. There's more to it than that. This dude got mad at me. He came for me in my DMs because I had posted, like, you know, a viral video resurface of what Charlie Kirk was saying. So I posted that in my story. It wasn't making fun. It was just like, yo, this is the type of stuff he was talking about. Somebody came to me, man. I'm just disappointed in you, man. When you lost your son, man, I prayed for you and this, that, and the third. I just think it's not cool that you. I was like, first of all, how you gonna use the death of my son to come in here and try to coax me into feeling sympathy for somebody that wouldn't give a damn about me? I thought that was absolute garbage that he tried to use the death of my son to compare it to this. Like, we prayed for you. First of all, that was a shitty move to try to get your little point across. Secondly, my son was not a public figure. He wasn't an author. He wasn't an activist. He wasn't a media personality. He wasn't stoking the fires of these large groups of people. He was just a 20-year-old kid trying to figure his life out. So then he tried to equate it to, well, how would you feel if, you know, people was talking about other things, you know, as soon as he passed? I was like, they were. When my son passed, the conversation became about street racing. People were talking about street racing when I lost my son. That was the conversation. I was like, I told him, I was like, I didn't mind that. That's an important conversation to have. You know, to be clear, my son was not doing the racing, but they were hit. My son and his friends, Natalie and Jaden, and there was another friend driving the car, but she survived. They were hit by kids racing. So that became the conversation. And I was not sitting here like, no, man, this ain't the time to be talking about street racing. This is exactly the motherfucking time to be talking about street racing. Because we lost children to kids street racing on residential roads. This is the perfect time. Matter of fact, we marched in Burbank to bring attention to them cracking down on that street and cracking down on these street racers. I wasn't sitting here like, this ain't the time. We need to just be RIP. So I was just like, bro, your method to try to get across to me was just absolute garbage. You really tried to use my son to fuel your little argument and your POV and your little stance. So I was just like, I was getting angry though. I don't know this person from nothing, but I was just like, let me just, to not cuss you out, let me just, all right, man. And like he was typing something back and I didn't even let him get the type off. I just blocked him after that. But like stuff like that, it's just like, don't compare my son to somebody that's in the public space that Charlie Kirk was in. They're not the same individual. But I thought that was a shitty move. And there was a couple other people that tried to say that, man, we prayed for your son. Like, as you should have. Cool. What that got to do with Charlie Kirk? What that got to do about a man that don't give a damn? You think Charlie Kirk will give a damn about my son? Come on, man. Black 20-year-old young man? What we doing, man? What we talking about? What we talking about? So now we're in a place where it's getting ugly out here. So now Charlie Kirk gets shot. You know, the fan base that he, you know, stokes up, riles up. Now, historically black colleges and universities are getting threats. We minding our own black business. This shooting ain't got nothing to do with us. We minding our black business. And now we getting threats on campus. Because they fired up. And they fired up. They marching in Huntington Beach, the white supremacists. They fired up. What you fired up at us for? This ain't got nothing to do with us. We did not pull the trigger. So now they just looking for a reason to set it the fuck off. That's all it is. They looking for a reason to set it off. So now they like, oh, it was a white kid that shot him. Yeah, we knew. I knew when Charlie was shot. I knew. There was zero shock when they came across with the photo of the shooter and yeah, this is the shit. There's zero shock. That shooter fit the bill. I knew it wasn't going to be no black person. I knew that from the gate. So I was just like, so now the black colleges are just getting threats. Now, they find Trey Reed hanging from a tree on a campus in Mississippi. Just hanging from a tree, dead. And now I heard too that they found like another black man hanging. This guy was homeless, also in Mississippi. So I feel like, man, this is about to get ugly. This is about to get ugly. And they're gonna try to find every excuse in the book about Trey Reed. They're gonna be like, "Oh, it was a suicide. It was a suicide, man." You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be trying to dust stuff over. So we in some wild times, man. Y'all be safe. You know what I'm saying? Strap up. Look out. There's ugly times out here, man. Wild times. Big wild. But let me pay these bills real quick. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about, you feel me? Life doesn't happen bi-weekly, y'all. It does not happen bi-weekly. So I don't know why payday is happening bi-weekly. Why we got to wait 2 weeks? Why we got to wait 2 weeks on the payments, man? You know what I'm saying? We doing the work every day, Monday through Friday, whatever your schedule may be. Why we got to wait the 2 weeks? Why we just getting paid twice a month, man? Cue up the more frequent payments. You know what I'm saying? Life doesn't happen bi-weekly, so why should payday? The money you've earned should be in your hands, and with Earnin, it can be. You know what I'm saying? In those moments when money isn't moving as fast as your life is, Earnin gives you the financial momentum you need to keep moving forward. They say time waits for no one, and neither should payday. To keep your money moving in the direction of your dreams, get Earnin. Paycheck to paycheck anxiety, anyone? Worrying doesn't help. Earnin does. All right. Earnin is an app that lets you access your pay as you earn it, up to $150 a day, with a max of $750 between pay periods. Just download the Earnin app and add your info, then start accessing your pay as you work, and leave an optional tip to help keep the app running for everyone. Any money you access plus tips are automatically repaid from your next paycheck. Earnin is the app that helps millions of Americans take charge of their pay and avoid falling into debt traps. Earnin empowers you to make the most of your money with access, like I said, $150 a day or up to $750 between pay periods. No interest, no credit check, and no mandatory fees. So that's like, stuff can come up in the 2 weeks. Car trouble will be the main thing, because you never know when that's going to creep up. Medical issues, where you got to run up on the doctor real quick. You might have to go up in that urgent care, whatever the case may be. Flat tire, you know what I'm saying? All kind of stuff just be popping up, man. A special night out, taking care of family, you know what I'm saying? An unexpected trip to the vet. The vet can tear you up, man. You know what I'm saying? Rent, whatever the case may be, Earnin can help with those moments, man. So download the Earnin app today, spelled EARNIN, in the Google Play or Apple App Store. When you download the Earnin app, type in verbal cardio under podcast when you sign up. It'll really help the show. That's verbal cardio. under podcast. Earnin is a financial technology company, not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors. Standard cash outs take 1 to 2 business days with no mandatory fees. Expedited transfers available for a fee. Tips are voluntary and don't affect the service. Available in select states. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details. Download Earnin now and take control of your pay. Boom, pow. You know what I'm saying? Man, I wish I had this when I worked at Dairy Queen. Sick of it, man. I needed this during the Dairy Queen days. Them 2 weeks was the longest 2 weeks of my life. You want to slow time down, man? Get me in between the pay periods. That's when time slows down to a crawl when you waiting to get paid. Man, Anyway, let me cut the feed off. Let me tell y'all this one more time. I want y'all to join my Patreon. If you in the IG live, if you up in here, I want you to join my Patreon, man. $5 a month. You know what I'm saying? All those other apps that you sign to, they not going to give you the personal care that I be giving. Okay? I want y'all to join up, man. Click the link in my bio. Click that Patreon tab. And join up, man. I want 10 of y'all. At least 10 of you in here could do that. I don't think y'all going to do it, but I got to try. But anyway, I'm cutting y'all off. If you don't want to miss a beat, join my Patreon. You get the link. You can see it all in real time. You could be a part of this podcast for real. All right. Boom. Pow. Bam. Wham. Bam. Thank you, ma'am. The Terrence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez fight on Netflix. It did like 40-something million viewers. Wait, I'll tell you the exact number. I think it was like 41 million. 41 million views on this fight. Terrence Crawford, Canelo Alvarez. It was on Netflix Saturday night. I watched it, of course. I feel like the viewers should have been higher. 41 million feels kind of low to me. Granted, if that was a pay-per-view fight and it was 41 million, that would have obliterated records. But I feel like this, I thought it was going to be higher. Because I think the Spinks Ali fight, they say that drew like 90 million viewers back in the day. But, you know, the fight, it was epic. You know what I'm saying? You could see the money was spent. Like that arena in Vegas, the intros, how they were coming out to the ring, it was crazy. It was epic. The visuals, the camera angles, the shots, the musicians, the way they were set up. I like how Terrence Crawford came out to the song from Desperado. That was his theme when he came out. Ay, 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 ay. I don't know how to say it in Spanish, but I love that song from the movie Desperado. The movie Desperado is one of my favorite movies. Like that's a movie I can come into at any point in time during the movie and watch the rest of it. Like that's a movie. I saw it in theaters when it came out and I loved it. I was just like, the action was crazy, ridiculous, and dope. The storyline was simple. Antonio Banderas was fantastic. This was my intro to Salma Hayek. And I was just like, Lord Jesus, who is this woman? But the chemistry they had within the movie was fantastic. The beats, the action pieces, it was funny, it was dope, it was ridiculous. That's how you do a sequel to a movie. You know what I'm saying? El Mariachi was the original, super low budget, ultra low budget, but it made some noise. You give Robert Rodriguez a little bit of a budget now, and he gonna crank it up, and it was fantastic. But that song that he was singing, and then, you know, Bud Crawford comes in with the guitar case. Give me the guitar. Give me the guitar. I love that. I love that movie, man. Matter of fact, I want to watch it now. I'm gonna watch it again. I've seen it like 8 times probably. But it's just one of those movies I really love. It was simple. It was effective. It made 20-something million at the box office back in 1995. I was there. I was one of the people that contributed to the movie. And I just thought Antonio and Salma together were just a great duo. Like they were just fantastic. The casting was perfect. So if you haven't seen Desperado, you really should. Quentin Tarantino's in there for a little bit. I think Steve Buscemi is in there. This was also my intro to Danny Trejo. Even though Danny Trejo had been in stuff before then, this was my intro to Danny Trejo. Because he was like an assassin. He was walking around with that vest. He was looking mean. He had the tattoo on his torso. He had the knives going. And everything was working out. It's funny how big he looked in that movie. I was like, yo, man, this dude is massive. But then when you look at Danny Trejo for real, like, oh, he's short. Like, I didn't know he was that short. You know what I'm saying? But fantastic film. And I thought it was dope how Bud Crawford just paid homage to, Mexican Independence Day by coming out like that. You know what I'm saying? Giving props and respect to the Mexican fan base of boxing. And, I like that. I like that angle that he took. And then, Canelo comes out, he has the mariachi band as well. So it was just a dope intros and stuff like that. And the fight itself, it was cool. It wasn't crazy, but it was cool. Like, Canelo just couldn't figure out Crawford. He couldn't figure out how to get him. He wasn't making the right adjustments. The stuff just wasn't working. Crawford countered well. He stayed mobile. Like, he would mix it up for a little bit, but then just like create the footwork. Not running, but just like being busy, Because Canelo's he's the type of fighter that's gonna get in close and press you. But that just wasn't working out in his favor in this fight. So, Crawford was just collecting those rounds. And I was like, yeah. I was like, he got him. I always said that fight would go the distance. I knew it would go to 12 rounds. I didn't think anybody was going to get knocked out. So it was right along with my predictions. So I was like, it's going to be Crawford by decision. That was my pick. And so that's exactly what happened. And, there was one fight before that one on the undercard that was really good. Those cats just stayed close and they were just like mixing it up. They were just taking the hits. And then I got to thinking about boxing. I was like, yo, man, you really sign up to get punched in the head repeatedly. You're signing up for this. You're signing up to get punched in the head repeatedly over several fights. Repeated punches to the dome. Even if you win, even if you're getting the money, your brain is getting jiggled repeatedly. No headgear. Just raw head, repeated jiggles to the dome. And your brain is not meant to be jiggled around like this. So I'm like, man, that's why a lot of these fighters come out of like dire straits. They come out of just like, yo, it's either I can make a way in boxing or I'm just on the streets. I'm just out here in jail. I'm on the streets. I don't know what I'm going to do. So you be like, man, the money's all worth my brain jiggle. And then they just go out here and take punches to the dome. That's why a lot of times you see these cats, as they get older, you can tell things really diminish. In many cases, they seem older than they really are because they're slower. They're just like, yeah, just out here getting after it. There's something there where it's just like, man, they really slowed down fast. Because they getting their brains jiggled. And we be watching it. I be signing up. I'll be signing up for the brain jiggle. I'll be like, woo, like, I love boxing. But I know, like, man, the brain, because I thought about like, yo, could I box? Could I do it? I think about that all the time. What if I took up boxing when I was young and just like, you know what I'm saying? But I feel like my brain would be jiggled. Because I feel like you kind of got to kind of know your little temperament. And I feel like I would be the type of fighter that presses my opponent. I feel like I'm on that type of time. Like, I don't want to do all the distance and keeping you at bay. I want to get up in there and just knock you out, man. I want to get up in there and really just sock you out close, hard. You know what I'm saying? Pause. No, press play, man. That's the type of fighter I am. Let's get this over with, man. I don't want to dance around for 12 miles. I'm tired. I'm tired, man. I'm breathing. My lungs hurt. Let me get up in here and knock you out, man. Let me get in close. So if that was my fighting style, I'm going to be getting hit in the head. I'm going to be getting my brain jiggled. But I want to give a shout out to those fighters, man. They gave us something to look forward to on a Saturday, man. 41 million viewers ain't, you know, that ain't nothing to sneeze at. But it's also, you know what I'm saying? Like the Paul Tyson fight, I got the numbers right here. 108 million on Netflix. That's how many people pulled up, roughly. 108 million. Granted, that's a cheat code. It's not a true pay-per-view. It was all free, but man, and that fight was garbage. That fight was absolute garbage. That was some of the worst shit I've seen. Absolute boot buddy garbage. I hated that fight with a passion. I was like, man, this is disgusting. Trash. But 108 million. So number 2, Canelo, Crawford, 41 million. So now we get to the real pay-per-view. These are the numbers I feel like matter. Mayweather versus Pacquiao, 4.6 million pay-per-view. All right. Mayweather versus McGregor, pay-per-view, 4.3 million. And then Mayweather versus De La Hoya, 2.4 million pay-per-view. These are the views that matter for real. Because they're not coming in on the free. As a fighter, this is what you want. This is the percentage you want in on. 4.6 million people paid $60 to watch your fight. That's the bread you want, man. That's it right there. Let me see. Let me just do some quick math, man. You know what I'm saying? 4.6. We'll say $60. That's $276 million just from the pay-per-view. 276 million if you do 4.6 million times $60. And you getting a nice little percentage of that. That's why Pacquiao and Mayweather got crazy money for those fights. Crazy money. Big booty, robust, pull the Brinks truck up to the crib money. And more. I don't even know if you can fit $100 million in the Brinks truck. I don't even know. I don't know how much money you can fit up in the Brinks truck. But if you get $100 million, you might need a few trucks for that. And knowing Mayweather, he'd be like, I wanted cash. He probably had the trucks pull up with the cash. He probably got cash stashes all over the place. Under the mattress. Cash. So that's wild. So that happened this past Saturday, you know what I'm saying? So that was a good time. Whose birthday is it? Happy birthday, Erica. Happy birthday to you. All right, let me see what type of time y'all on in the So I opened up the floor to, you know, my patron saints on what they wanted me to touch on. S. Money 45 said, here's an interesting take. Cameron kicked Adrien Broner off the podcast for disrespecting his co-host. There were comments commending him for saying something, but that he should have also told Adrien about respecting his co-host. as a woman and not just making it about her man being offended. Do you think him removing Adrien was enough? Or should he have elaborated on how he should have respected her boundaries also? Um, I get what you're saying. I get what they're saying, like, why you make it about the boyfriend. But he didn't mention the boyfriend piece until much later. And so he had already warned him, and then he said it again. And that's where, as he was digging through the bag trying to get the money together to pay Adrien Broner, he just mentioned the boyfriend too. And so I don't think there was anything wrong with him mentioning the boyfriend as well. But he was the protection was protection. So, a lot of people wouldn't even have done that. Most people wouldn't even have done that. They would just let him cut up and be like, hey, man, chill. All right, so Adrien, what's it been like? You know what I'm saying? I feel like Cam took a hard stance and like, yo, we going to get you up out of here, dog. Gave you the warning. You still sitting here. And then we got to get you up out of here. I didn't see the full interview. I just saw that clip, what led up to him paying him out and getting him the hell up out of there. So, seeing stuff like that, that's just something we don't see. I've seen countless interviews where cats were getting awkward and uncomfortable and doing this and that, and just like, people don't even say anything. So seeing something like this, I was just like, all right, I commend that. For me personally. But people gonna nitpick every little move, and even when you stick up for women and you do this, well, you could have also did this. You could have do this here as well. Nobody's ever fully satisfied. And so, but Adrien got the message. We're not going to put up with this. You got to go. And then boom, out of there. So that's my little spiel on that. You know what I'm talking about? The Ginger J thing, this guy, I'm not sure why Ginger J is famous. I don't know if he's a battle rapper. I don't know if he's a YouTuber. He looks like the British Tahir, and he was kind of going in on black women, and it was just like, yo, he's going in, talking about their hair and stuff like that. He just had a little breakdown, and so I was just thinking like, yo, this is tied to his mom. Like this level of like disdain that he's showing for black women. I'm like, yeah, the origin story. I'm always interested in your origin story on your beefs. When you out here having issues with black women, what's your origin story? Where does it begin? What black woman tore you in half to where you're carrying it out on other black women that got nothing to do with your initial trauma? I'm always interested in your origin story. That's why I ask people hard-hitting questions. I dig deep. When I have conversations with people that I'm really like interested in, I like to dig deep on why you move the way you move, what happened here, what happened there. Like, why do you think like this? Why is this your mindset? And then that way I can get a better understanding of why you say the things you say, why you move how you move. The origin story. And I know the origin story for him, it has to be his mom. To have that type of outlook on black women in general is just, oh, you're carrying this because of that. Okay, got you. You know what I'm saying? And so there's a lot of dudes walking around like that. They out here talking shit. They dissing women. Women in general, they have no regard for. And then black women especially, women of color especially. If it ain't about sex, if it ain't about, you know what I'm saying, all of that, fuck your feelings. A lot of men have this mindset. All you got to do is look in the comment section. It's disgusting. And then when you ain't on that type of time where you just completely just slandering women, you a simp. You're pandering. And the same cats that call me out for that stuff, are you looking at what's being said in comment sections by men about women? It's crazy out here. It's crazy. So I don't always see a need to dig into women publicly. I just don't see the need for it because they already getting thrown on the grill day after day. Women getting thrown on the grill day after day. And so I don't see the need for me to also just chime in and be like, yeah, let me throw these women on the grill as well, man. Let's get that going. Let's brown that on both sides. Let's get the crispy edges going on this bitch. Like I just don't, you know what I'm saying? Now, if I know you in person, if we having a one-on-one conversation, my energy is different. My energy is like, I'm gonna hold you accountable for stuff. I'm gonna ask hard-hitting questions. I'm gonna dig deeper. I'm not gonna take what you say at face value. I'm like, why you say it like that? Why are you thinking like that? Where did this come from? How did that happen? Why you always say this about such and such? What dude fucked you up? Like I dig deep. Even when I'm talking to men or women, I'm just like, yo, why is she crazy? What did you do to cause this? On the back end, why'd you stay? Why'd you stick around? Why'd you accept this? Why'd you come back? Why'd you circle the block knowing that he was whack? Why'd you come back through? Like I'll be asking like these type of questions. And I'm always open for the questions on the other end, but people don't really be hitting me up with questions like that. But I'm always open to be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? On a personal level, like, you know, in public, I might censor some stuff because you don't have to know all my business. But if you somebody I trust, we can have conversations. You can dig and I can learn something about myself as you ask me the questions. But like, yeah, I'm asking, like, you know, why you take that? Why you stick around? What was you doing? Like, why, who, when, where? That's why I get mad at movies that don't have nuances and origin stories and their characters. Why is he abusive? Why is he an abusive character? Where does that come from? How is he getting women if he's this mean and terrible out the gate? Like how did he get you? That's why I'm always looking for like the layers and the, you know what I'm saying? Like, how did we get here? I'm into that. Like how? Like, you know what I'm saying? Let's dig deep. Because then when you don't get the origin story, you're just looking at a person at face value. That's fine when you want to establish a scary villain in a movie. Like, I don't know where he came from. I don't know why he do what he do. That's a scary villain because now I don't know the origin story. Now I'm just terrified. Like the villain in No Country for Old Men, Anton Chigurh. He's terrifying because I don't know nothing about him. All I know about him is that he is going to kill you. He going to flip a coin. He going to do what he do. That's all I know. And that makes him scarier because I know nothing. When you learn too much, you be like, all right, well, you know what I'm saying? This, that, and the third. He's still scary. But, you know, when he was a kid, I saw the soft side. He liked flowers. But when you don't know shit but murder, I'm shook. So I know that dude, Ginger J, his origin story ties back into a relationship he had with a black woman, and now he's lashing out now. A black woman. And this dudes are doing this in droves out here. And some women do it too. Y'all not innocent. Y'all be like, men ain't shit. Men this, that, and the third. Men this, that, and the third. And then it's hard to even argue with it because then you see how the men respond. You be like, well, you know what I'm saying? And then when you hear the stories from women that you know, it'd be a lot of whack shit going on. It'd be a lot of whack shit going on that they be going through. The stuff that's been said to them. They done got hands put on them. They've been grabbed. They've been groped. They've been assaulted. They've been degraded. They've been played. They've been put at risk for disease. They've been given a disease. Like, you know what I'm saying? The list goes on of what people are going through out here. So that's why I always just try to dig deep and gain a better understanding of like how people move, how they move, and all that good stuff. And but sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Like if you come at me a certain way, I don't even want to hear your origin story after a while. Like if you coming at me, if you dishing on me or like giving me a hard time, pretty soon I'll just be like, look, man, leave me alone. And I've had to say that before. I'm like, yo, can you leave me alone? Just leave me alone. I'm sick of this. Leave me alone. Once you get me to that point, just leave me alone. I ain't got nothing else. Once I say leave me alone, I got nothing else, man. Just get your boy up out of here, man. Leave me alone, please. Stop talking to me. Get out of here. Leave me alone. Now I'm not even interested in the origin story now. Because you on my neck, man. Leave me alone. Sick of it, man. I talked about the fight. Oh, somebody. Shemaine McCautry asks, let's talk about the fight. We already talked about the fight. And Tony, what traditionally women's exercise have you ever tried, i.e., aerobics, yoga, Pilates, and what was it like for you? I feel like I've tried yoga, but I'm not sure. I've never tried Pilates. I feel like I've never done like real aerobics, like an aerobics class. I feel like I attempted yoga before though. But is yoga considered a women's exercise? I feel like it's a lot of dudes out here yogaing it up, man. So you just gonna leave me standing out here? There's a video that I want to do commentary on so bad. With this, there's this woman outside this man's crib. She done busted the window open, and she's standing outside. So you just gonna leave me out here like this? You like, man, get the hell on, man. You tripping? So you just gonna leave me out here like this? And she keep asking. So you just gonna leave me out here like this? He like, yeah, man, you tripping? Go on somewhere now, man. So you just gonna leave me out here like this? And she keeps asking this. And then she's sitting at that broken window. So you just gonna leave me out here like this? And I was just like, bro, man. And if I was in that situation, I'm terrified at this point. Cause I'm like, yo, man, she really out. She done busted my window. She's standing here. She keep repeating herself. She looks like she's not even on earth right now. The way she looking at me, the way she is just stuck on one sentence. I'm just like, yo, man, this woman could kill me. Or I'm gonna have to kill her. You know, if it come down to me or her, guess what? Chivalry is not gonna cost me my life. I'm gonna have to be like, I'm gonna leave you out there like that, but don't you come in here. And then she ended up coming up in there because she was climbing through the window. So you just gonna leave me out here like this, and then the video cut off. That's a horror movie. That's a horror movie for me. So you just gonna leave me out here like this, rated R. That would be a terrifying movie. She just always shows up at people's window. So you just gonna leave me out here like this? You're like, man, come on, man. Go on somewhere, man. So you just gonna leave me out here like this? I'm just like, bro. And it got me to thinking, man. I was talking to someone I know about guys that were getting hands put on them by women. And I've never experienced that on a level from a woman I was dealing with romantically, right? I've never dealt with that. I've never been attacked by a woman that I've dated or had any type of, romantic sexual thing with, right? I've been slapped a couple of times by this one girl in front of the Comedy Store, but we wasn't on that type of time. I don't know why she slapped me to this day. I still don't get the slaps. But, the type of people that, are laying hands, putting hands on people, some people are into this. Some people accept it. They tolerate it. They like it. They come back for more. They still deal with these people. And I'm just like, how? You got one time. You got one time to put hands on me. One. That's it. Dunsky, none of that. It ain't exciting to me. It don't turn me on. It ain't like, man, she crazy about me. Fuck all that. You slap me or you punch me, whatever, one time. Do you know who I am? Let me tell y'all who I am. Who I am. Who I am. Okay? I'm already on edge anyway, in terms of like, yo, I'm out of here. If I don't like what I see, man, I'm out of here. The love taps is something I've never experienced. That's something I will not tolerate. That's something we not going back and forth. I'm not coming back around. We not doing this. I'm gonna find my way out of the situation when you in my face and you put hands on me. I'm gonna find my way out of that situation. After that, Dunsky. One time. And that's going to be my story that I tell people. Like, yeah, man, I was dealing with a girl, man. She slapped me. What happened after that? Shit, nothing. Never saw her again. Did y'all talk after that? Nope. Because I can do a long ass back and forth if it's like all conversation and argument. I've been in those situations where we just can't see eye to eye. We can't get it together. I've hung around too long on discussions, for sure. I've hung around too long on arguments. But physical violence, that's my marker. We can go back and forth for a long time sometimes, or just like we just not seeing eye to eye. But hands put to me, nah, man. You gotta have a hard stop, man. You gotta have a hard boundary. You gotta be like, yo, this is my boundary. And hands put on me in any fashion is my hard boundary. Nope. Because I ain't gonna be able to shake that, man. It's hard for me to shake stuff. I'm gonna always remember that you socked me in the mouth. You punched me in the mouth. You punched me in the mouth in January 2017. Let's say I do hang in there. I'll be looking at you in 2023, Thanksgiving. Yo, you punched me in the mouth in 2017. You punched me in the fucking mouth. I'm gonna always go back to that memory. I'm not gonna forget. I'm gonna be like, yo, you punched me in the fucking mouth. It could be mid, we laughing, having a good time. Oh. You punched me in the mouth in 2017. You really punched me in the goddamn mouth. Nah, man. Nope. You gotta know yourself. You gotta know yourself, man. I like history. Okay. I like history. I almost taught history in school. And my personal history matters too. And I'll be like, yo, you punched me in the mouth in 2017. I should have stopped the chapter right there. She punched me in the mouth in 2017. What happened after that? Nothing. Dunskies. Done. I want to give a shout out to Robert Redford. He passed away at the age of 89. Robert Redford was like the old school Brad Pitt to me. You know what I'm saying? Like square-headed, blonde, white dude that the ladies liked. You know what I'm saying? He was the Brad Pitt back in the day, man. He was that guy. And it was funny that they actually worked together on a movie called Spy Game. Because it was like, oh, the Brad Pitts together, the Brad Redford. You know what I'm saying? The Robert Pitt. Like they were, to me, he was absolutely the Brad Pitt of his day. And then, he transitioned into directing and stuff like that. So, his career was very extensive, and he got a lot of dope projects within that time. He made his directorial debut on the film called Ordinary People, and it made a lot of noise with the Oscars and stuff like that. He was in the movie The Natural. He was in Out of Africa. He was in, the movie Sting. He directed the movie Quiz Show. He directed A River Runs Through It, which also, I think Brad Pitt was in that. Was he in that? Am I tripping? Yeah, Brad Pitt was in that. So, of course, the Pitts are going to come together, man. So shout out to Robert Redford, his legacy and stuff like that. He also directed Matt Damon and Will Smith in The Legend of Bagger Vance. So, he was just out here working, man. Shout out to Robert Redford, man. And the movie The Sting, I used to love this movie when I was a kid because I loved the music and I loved the heist they had going. And you can see James Earl Jones's dad is in this movie. And once you see his dad in the movie, you could be like, yo, you don't know that's James Earl Jones' dad. They kind of sounded similar, you know what I'm saying? You see the resemblance. It was just dope to see, like, yo, that's James Earl Jones' pops. In the movie, he's like early in the movie too. So if you want to see The Sting, it's Paul Newman and Robert Redford, and it's like early in the movie when they established James Earl Jones' dad character. Like he was somebody that he would run the grift with, and so that's just cool to see a little nugget of history. And James Earl Jones' dad lived a long life as well, just like his son did. And so I think that's dope that the father and son both had like real longevity in life, and like I think that's cool. And my father, newly discovered father, he's still alive. He's 88 now. So I'm looking like, what I'm saying, I'm looking at my parents. I'm just like, yo, is long life in the cards for your boy? You gonna give me some of that longevity you got up in there? You gonna give me a little bit of a little bit of that long life? I can get me an 88 going. You know what I'm saying? 88 for a black man, that's a good time right there. So, but shout out to Robert Redford, man. Absolutely. Absolutely. Shout out to him. Valerie T is asking a hard-hitting question. Why do we stick with losing sports teams? If anything else in life performs poorly for too long, restaurants, bands, etc., we are usually out. And you are absolutely right, Valerie T. You goddamn right. Why do we have to stick around? Why we got to stay true to these teams, man? If you're in a relationship and you unhappy and they mistreating you and they're not delivering and they're not pulling their end together, you got every right to get on about that relationship. You got every right. Even if you married, if you unhappy, you know what? You could be like, man, I know I said to death do us part, but I'm out. This marriage is dead. But here I am, staying true to the Chicago Bears, and they socking me out season after season, and I'm just sitting here. I wouldn't do this in a relationship. If I was getting treated this poorly in a relationship, I'd have been out. But here I am, season after season, just being loyal to the soil. And the Bears get my emotions going like no other sports team. I'm the most emotionally connected to the Bears. I don't know what it is, man. I try to just be like, the only time I chilled off was after the Kaepernick thing, and I was like protesting the NFL, so I wasn't paying attention. And then that season, we actually had a good season, but I wasn't watching football that season. But I was like, the Bears are goddamn doing good when I'm protesting. They went to the playoffs that season. They lost to Philly in the close game because I saw the end of it at the comedy club. They had it on the TV, and I was just standing there, and I was like, the season that I protest, they decided to show up and show out. I was pissed. I was like, really? That's what we doing? So you gonna rise to the occasion when we separated? Okay. Okay. All right. Bet that. And now I'm just out here just taking L after L. Disappointment, mopped up, shambles. And here I am. I ain't going nowhere. So Valerie T, I don't have an answer for you. You know how some people don't respect people that got divorced? You're like, you quitters. That's how I be looking at people that quit on their team. I'd be like, nah, man, you had a commitment. You from there, so you supposed to stay with them through hella high water. Why you didn't stay together? Why you didn't stay the course? That'd be my mindset. I'll be like, man, I'm sick of it, man. It hurts. It hurts. Ooh, Honey Ray. Honey Ray asks, random question. I saw this on another podcast yesterday, and I wanted to know your thoughts. Who are your top 5 movie action stars? No particular order. Mine are Bruce Willis, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Keanu Reeves, Jackie Chan. Great question, honey. I'm going with my top 5 action stars. So I'm a relegated to actors who do mostly action. Right? Keanu Reeves is tough because he does so much more than action, but he is an action star because you got Speed, The Matrix, The Man of Tai Chi, John Wick. So he's an action star now. And I gotta throw Keanu Reeves in there. Gotta throw Keanu Reeves in there. I gotta throw Arnold Schwarzenegger in there, man. Arnold got to be up in there, man. Because his action movies back in the day was prime real estate. That was prime real estate, man. The Terminator, Red Heat, Terminator 2, Raw Deal, Commando, Conan, True Lies. You know, I gotta throw Arnold up in there. Arnold was big action. The Eraser. Van Damme was a good choice. You know what pissed me off about Steven Seagal's movies? Everything was too easy for him. That's why I'm not putting him on my list, man. Steven Seagal, it was always too easy for him. Every movie, he barely struggled. He's serving everybody up raw and hard. Press play. All movie, he get to the final boss, he take him out quick. I'm just like, man, nah, man. I like for my heroes to struggle out here. I like for them to be scrambling and hanging on by a thread and running into adversity. And you know what I'm saying? So Steven Seagal's not making my list. I gotta put Sylvester Stallone in there, man. I gotta put him in there. Rocky is kind of action, but if you take the Rockies off, you got Cobra, you got Tango and Cash, you got Rambo, all the First Blood, the Rambo 3, the John Rambo, the regular Rambo, Last Call for Alcohol, all that good stuff. The Specialist, Demolition Man. I got to put Sylvester Stallone in there. So for me, we got Keanu Reeves, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone. I got to get Jet Li and Jackie Chan going. They just gonna round it out, man. Jet Li and Jackie Chan, because they doing pure action. I gotta do Jet Li and Jackie Chan on the back end. Gotta do those two. Wesley Snipes is the honorable mention. Jason Statham, you know what I'm saying? But Jet and Jackie, man, gotta throw them up in there. Ooh, Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise, though, he's a great action star, but he's also more than that. Like Jet Li and Jackie Chan are primary action. That's it. So you got to give Jet and Jackie up in there because they do pure action. Tom Cruise, you look at his early career, mad dramas in there. Rain Man, Born on the 4th of July, All the Right Moves, Far and Away, The Firm, you know what I'm saying? Eyes Wide Shut, Vanilla Sky, Jerry Maguire, you know what I mean? Like, he was doing like a whole bunch of like dramas and just like, stuff like that. Then he kind of got into the action more often. A Few Good Men, that's not an action movie. And like, but then he got into the action realm. Once he started doing the Mission Impossibles, he was like, all right, man. You know what I'm saying? But before then, he kind of just fell into the action star status later on. But he's a great action star. I will say that, though. He's a great action star. But yeah, that's my 5, though. Jet, Jackie, Arnold, Sylvester, Keanu Reeves. Yeah. For sure. Donnie Yen is fantastic. Tony Jaa. I haven't really watched a ton of Tony Jaa movies, though, to be honest with you. But I know what he does is incredible. I know that much. Michael J. White is fantastic as well. But anyway, let me get the hell up out of here. I've talked enough. I want y'all to be safe out here. I want y'all to keep watching the news. Be mindful. Keep your eyes open. It's deadly times out here, man. It's wild. I really think those hangings are suspect as fuck in Mississippi. They really trying to take this shit out on us because they were just looking for some shit. So just be careful. Hold your black family and your black business close. Be careful out here, man. It's gonna get crazier. So I want y'all to be safe, be real with yourself and others. And I love y'all, man. Thanks for listening, man. I appreciate y'all. And thank you for tuning in to another session of that verbal cardio.